when it comes to Bitcoin, its rising price and the lucrative opportunities it presents is only one part of the story. There's another aspect to it that many investors miss. Hi everyone, welcome to The Humane Factor. I'm Namrata, a human rights lawyer and activist. In recent years, digital currency like Bitcoin has become revolutionary, and many people believe that it's the future of money. Who knows, decades from now, we'll probably be buying groceries with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. Now, after Bitcoin was launched in early 2009, it went through its share of ups and downs. Some of its biggest price swings were in 2017 and 2018, when a steep rise followed by an 84% decline created a lot of hype and made headlines. The last 3 months of 2020 saw yet another sharp rise as the currency's value more than tripled, and it's still climbing. Now, Bitcoin has won over some of the best known billionaires, and institutions worldwide treat it as a serious financial asset. In February this year, after Tesla announced that it had bought around $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, it reached an all-time high. Then, 2 months later, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk reversed the company's decision to accept Bitcoin for car purchases, citing environmental concerns. This sent Bitcoin into a free fall. It fell by more than 15%. And then in July this year, Elon Musk said that Tesla will most likely restart accepting Bitcoin as payment. Hopefully, they're able to do that because, as we've seen, all it takes is one tweet from Elon Musk to drive up the value of Bitcoin. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, its rising price and the lucrative opportunities it presents is only one part of the story. There's another aspect to it that many investors miss: its ability to protect human rights and stand against tyranny. Today, we're going to take a deeper look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at the bigger picture in the context of the digitalized future we're moving towards. Now, back in 2017, Nobel laureate and economist Paul Krugman described Bitcoin as some fancy technological thing that nobody really understands. He said, "There's been no demonstration yet that it actually is helpful in conducting economic transactions. There's no anchor for its value." Take a look at this clip.
Does the run-up in Bitcoin prices make any sense to you? No. What's going on here?
Bitcoin, nobody understands it, which is for the time being a positive. It comes with
A positive for the prices?
for the price of it.
Yeah.
It's got this mystique about it because it's some fancy technological thing that nobody really understands. There's been no demonstration yet that it actually is helpful in conducting economic transactions. There's no anchor for its value. Unlike pieces of paper with dead presidents on them, those are anchored by the fact that you can use them to pay taxes. There's no anchor for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has developed this mystique. Partly the price going up, partly it's tied up with libertarian stuff. I'm told that there are apocalyptic the end is coming guys who are accumulating Bitcoin, because once we turn into a Mad Max wasteland, having a digitally distributed, never mind. So I think it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the psychology of it is clearly. If you're using the shoe shine boy test, my barber asked me about Bitcoin. The feeling that people are caught up in something that they really don't understand is overwhelming.
So you think
Now, Human Rights Foundation's chief, Alex Gladstein, has pushed back against Bitcoin critics like Krugman. He says that Krugman lives in a liberal democracy where his native currency is both globally dominant and relatively stable. It's not difficult for people like Krugman to open bank accounts, use mobile apps to pay bills, or invest in real estate or the stock market. Unfortunately, not everyone lives in Krugman's rosy world. There are 4.2 billion people who live under oppressive authoritarian regimes. For them, money is used as a tool for surveillance and state control. Oftentimes, their currency is debased and they're cut off from the financial system that Krugman gets to enjoy. Their governments can and do freeze people's bank accounts, shut down ATMs, arbitrarily cut off people from financial services, and even seize private funds. Actions like these are often targeted at individuals labeled as problematic: activists, dissidents, union leaders, and critics of the ruling party. Cutting off access to money is a quick and dirty way to immobilize people. Now, if only there was a monetary system not controlled by a central bank, untouchable by governments, where value could be transmitted without corruption or interference and unaffected by international borders. Enter Bitcoin. So, how does Bitcoin fit into the picture? It's resistant to censorship. It can't be seized or taken away by governments. It's borderless, permissionless, programmable, and peer-to-peer. Bitcoin transactions don't go through banks or financial intermediaries. They travel directly from one person to another. Payment processing is not done by a regulated company like Visa or MasterCard, but by a decentralized global software network. Storage is handled not by a bank, but by the users themselves. Also, Bitcoin issuance isn't determined by central bankers. So, Bitcoin is deflationary, and this prevents authorities from making more of it and then debasing the value as is done with actual currency. Now, Bitcoin transactions also can't be stopped. Once the transaction is paid for, it can't be vetoed by an intermediary. It also ensures anonymity. You don't need to reveal your name, address, or telephone number. All you need is internet access. It's that simple. So, all these qualities make Bitcoin useful for people who live under authoritarian or oppressive regimes. For people living under such regimes, Gladstein says that it provides a way to preserve their money in cyberspace, locked away by encryption, safe from devaluation, and in a network that has never been hacked. For them, it's digital cash and digital gold rolled into one. Transacting outside the government's purview using Bitcoin is not a shady business. It's a way for people to preserve their freedoms. Now, Bitcoin has been used as a tool in many countries to fight for civil rights. For instance, in 2020, there were protests in Nigeria in response to police brutality. A movement called End SARS was established to abolish the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, a division of the police force in Nigeria, which was known to abuse and harass citizens. Many human rights organizations, like the Feminist Coalition, had their bank accounts frozen because of their involvement in End SARS protests. So what did they do? They turned to Bitcoin to raise donations. They raised the equivalent of tens of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin to buy protest equipment. In Belarus, nationwide protests broke out last year against tyranny and corruption. Now, people in Belarus had been protesting the re-election of President Alexander Lukashenko. Activists raising money to support various democracy movements had their bank accounts frozen. Authorities also ordered banks to seize money raised in donations and paid out as compensation to victims of police crackdowns. These individuals then turned to Bitcoin to circumvent political and financial repression. In countries like Iran, Palestine, and Cuba, individuals face global sanctions or embargoes because of their corrupt governments. Now, Bitcoin gives them a lifeline for earning income or receiving remittances from abroad. In Cuba, people live under a high level of oppressive financial censorship and rampant inflation. Their communist government has strict rules on how private businesses can operate and what people can do with their money. Their access to foreign currencies has been further restricted because of COVID and US sanctions. They've had to turn to cryptocurrencies, which are censorship resistant. Cryptocurrency is also a saving grace for financially unstable economies. Take the case of Venezuela. Venezuela's official currency has been plummeting for years. As hyperinflation and US sanctions disrupt Venezuela's economy, the government has issued its own cryptocurrency backed by oil called the Petro. Now, this is emerging as a tool to send remittances, protect wages from inflation, and help businesses manage cash flow in a quickly depreciating currency. Now, cryptocurrency in Latin America gained a lot of attention in June this year after El Salvador became the first country in the world to pass a legislation that adopts Bitcoin as legal tender. This means that Bitcoin can be used to pay for goods and services throughout the country, and recipients are legally obliged to accept it once it's implemented. Take a look at this clip.
In June, El Salvador passed a law to make Bitcoin their official currency, the first country to make the move. This is El Salvador, and this is their physical currency, the US dollar. They used to have their own currency, the peso, and then the colon. But after years of civil war and economic turmoil, in 2001 they mothballed their own and resorted to the dollar. One of the main reasons? Its large overseas population in the US who send money home. This money made up about 15% of the country's GDP in 2000. Now, it's close to a quarter of the country's economy. The 2001 dollarization has proven successful, but flawed. Nearly 70% of people in the country do not yet have a bank account, making cash essential. Bitcoin, as opposed to the traditional banking system, is traded peer-to-peer on something called blockchain. By cutting out the middleman, it not only offers, in theory, a cheaper way for El Salvadorans overseas to keep the flow of money going home, but it also adds to new possibilities for the country's economy.
It will open up the doors for innovation. It will probably attract investment into the country.
39-year-old President Nayib Bukele has been a staunch Bitcoin believer since elected in 2019.
The Bitcoin system is so perfect. I think it's going to be the future.
Even though Bukele is a president, he's actually a crypto punk like myself.
He then revealed his plan to build Bitcoin mining plants driven by the country's volcanic energy, claiming the system would be, quote, cheap, clean, renewable, and zero emissions.
So if you're in El Salvador and want to buy groceries or go shopping, you can pay with Bitcoin once it's been implemented. But of course, adopting Bitcoin as legal tender carries several risks. In fact, the World Bank rejected El Salvador's request to help with the implementation of Bitcoin as legal tender, given its environmental and transparency shortcomings. Now, unlike democracy, which is clearly not universal, Bitcoin is universally available. You don't need to have a specific passport, bank card, or voting status to use it. No government can cut you out of the system if it's threatened by you. We are in the middle of a great digital transformation, and the use of cash is disappearing. People now rely on easily surveilled apps like Apple Pay and Alipay. We might soon shift to central bank issued digital currencies, as we see in Venezuela. Now, Bitcoin provides an alternative to our increasingly centralized financial system. It provides a way for people to raise funds without censorship, a way to save despite inflation, and a way to teleport value without permission. Bitcoin wasn't as powerful 5 years ago before it had global liquidity. But today, exchanges have popped up in almost every region. Its daily trading volume exceeds that of Apple and other popular stocks. Peer-to-peer marketplaces such as Paxful and local Bitcoins have broadened their reach, and this enables users to sell Bitcoin for local currency almost anywhere in the world. Perhaps you don't need Bitcoin today. Maybe PayPal, Venmo, or your bank account serves your needs just fine. But, to quote Gladstein, don't write off Bitcoin as a mere vehicle for financial speculation. For millions of people around the world, it's an escape hatch from tyranny, which guarantees financial freedom. Wait, I'm not done yet. Before you go, please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for interesting videos every Wednesday and Saturday. I'll be back soon.